My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Like, the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, tell us about it, Rafi.
Diversity is the key to make successful cities, period. Not a bunch of bullshit-ass niggas that got a degree thinking, I don't want nobody to make less than $50,000 living on my block. That's fine. And all of that shit talking about affordable housing, which is not market rate, which is not $3,000 for a one-bedroom apartment, but affordable housing does not increase crime, does not increase any of that. That's a f***ed up way of thinking by some Neuvo Niggas.
You hear that? Yeah, that sounds of the barbershop. So right now, three brothers are in the shop. So this is a Gent Spot. It's the oasis for black men to get away. You know, the barbershop. We always talk about barbershop talk, so we're doing a barbershop episode right now. The Gent Spot in Houston, Texas, off of Highway 6. Come check it out. Dope spot. Basically, it's the black man's country. See it, you'll see the pictures, see the videos. I'm happy to be here. So if you hear random people chiming in, that's the shop talk. So who's up first?
I think the homie Razi got some in the chamber.
Yeah. So, you know, while we're here in Houston, right? We're here to celebrate Fergs vow renewal. 10 years in the game, right?
10 years in the game.
10 years in the game.
10 years out of the game, huh?
10 years out of the game, 10 years into the marriage game, however you want to say it. But ultimately, we're here to celebrate you, bro. And for the listeners, we got a lot of listeners that talk about how marriage is so hard and it's so much work and all that's BS. Overrated. But it's overrated, as Byron says. So, but when you think about it, I wanted to get you guys best advice for the folks out there that's looking to be married, that might be, dealing with relationships, that type of thing. What's the best advice you can give them so that they can make it to 10 years and above? How long have you guys been married? Like 90?
Nice.
Married longer than you been alive, bro.
It made 16 last month.
16 years, man. That's a blessing. So, whatever y'all can kind of tell the listeners to watch out for, some best practices, things like that for keeping a marriage going.
Just know, however happy you are on your wedding day, it's not going to always be like that. And that sounds simple, but I think people really underestimate, like you mentioned, how tough marriage can be. And too many times I think when it gets hard, the common option is to just walk away from it. Divorce. Okay, I come home, my dinner not hot, I'm out. I don't want this no more. Or she ain't sexing me like she used to. You know what I mean? So just know that it comes with bad times, and you're supposed to work through them together, not separate or run at the first sight of trouble. Because marriage can be fun. Like we always say, how difficult it is. No, it can be fun. It can be dope, especially if you marry someone that's your best friend and that you really enjoy, like genuinely enjoy. I'm not talking about the guy that has to stop at happy hour after work because he ain't ready to go home. I'm talking about the guy that's ready to go home because he enjoys being with his wife. It can be dope, but just know that tough times are coming and be willing to work through it.
I'm going to piggyback off of what Buff said, because I think you got more gems out there. But it's the tough times. We talk about the tough times, and you have to realize marriage is something new for everybody. So one of the things is to kind of unlearn some of the stuff you've been learning your whole lives. For one, all of this is how woman's supposed to act in a relationship, this is how the man's supposed to act. Also realize that you got baggage, and she has baggage. And I heard this the other day is every relationship you were in prior to this, you were practicing divorce. That's why it didn't work, right? Like, if it didn't work out, you got out. And so there's nothing you've been in your life like marriage. If you had 10 girlfriends before you got married, you divorced 10 of them, right? You divorced all 10 of them. So you're almost conditioned to look for exits. Either you get out all the way or you kind of check out partially, whatever the case may be. So you have to realize that I gotta undo my learning. I gotta think of this differently. And so with that being said, build for you two. Build for you and your spouse. You figure out what you guys want. I think one thing that helps Z and I is we have a vision of what we want our marriage to be, who we want to be in our marriage. We call ourselves Team Ferg because it's like we're truly a team. We're working towards the same goals, just like in a team. It's only if the team wins, the team wins. So it's not if a Z wins an argument, I win an argument, or she's winning in life, I'm winning in life. It's either we're winning or we're losing. If I'm on offense and she's on defense, I can have the best offensive game of my life, but if her defense game is off, and we take an L, I can't pat myself on the back and say, look, when I scored 48 points, you let the other team score 49. The L. You know, it is what it is, right? An L is an L. Or, you know, she hold him at 3 points, I can't score 0. You know, she's like, nah, I only score 3 points. It's an L. So work together, have a vision that makes you guys happy, and enjoy each other. Like you said some stuff like somebody that truly makes you happy. You know, learn how to enjoy who you're with. Dating, marriage, especially when you throw kids in there, things you enjoy become a little different. And it's easy to want to do the same things you were doing 10, 15 years ago when you first started dating. Those things change a little bit. So you got to still find ways where you can be happy and enjoy that person, but still never, like Byron, you date Tabitha. Like, you date the hell out of Tabitha. Y'all go on trips. You're always posting pictures of you going out in town. Even
those fancy restaurants y'all be going to?
Even...
You rented a Range Rover, bro.
It was a baby Range Rover.
So
who has anybody been on a date this weekend? Has anybody been on a date this weekend? Right?
I don't know.
Byron, did you take your wife on a date?
We went out to eat.
What do you call it?
We were hungry at the same time. We went to the same place.
Did they have prices on the menu, Byron?
We ain't gonna even throw his flex on the menu. Pull up a chair, bro.
Right. It had a menu, and it did have prices on it.
If you got to ask, you can't afford it. That's what it is. But
we went to a spot called Kirby's, man. You know, I'm not from here. I want to check it out.
I'm from here, and I ain't never tried it.
Shout out to Kirby's.
You know, but date, you know, have fun.
One thing I'll say about dating though is, to keep a healthy relationship, you can't lose yourself. And coming from me, the whole independent equals single guy, I think you still need to be independent or an individual, right? I remember I kind of cleaned it up a little bit, and I was talking about how you got to stay an individual, but you got to let go of the independence if you're actually in a relationship. And I think with that is kind of talking about this. You talked about the barbershop, right? And that Mecca, and being able to come and chill and do things without your spouse.
Yeah.
I think that's the other part about it is, to have a healthy relationship, you got to be able to go and do stuff by yourself. You got to be able to kind of make time for yourself and actually chill out and not worry about her calling you 15 times because you've been out with your boys for 2 hours, right? Or like, she goes out with her homegirls and you worried. I love that skit on TikTok where they talk about the fellas going out, and she like, where you going? What y'all gonna do and everything? And he like, I don't know, I'm trying to figure it out. But then when she goes out, he be like, all right, you know, I'm good. I don't care. So that's the thing. So ladies that's listening, I know a lot of our listeners, most of our listeners are ladies. So when y'all listening, man, let your guy have some time. If he plays video games, let him play video games. If he goes golf, let him go golf. I mean, you know, whatever he does, let him have that time to recharge, to reset his mind, so then he can come and he can give his all to you. Because if he's always giving to you, always giving to the family, always giving to the kids, and not taking care of himself, then y'all relationship is gonna ultimately fail. Because at some point he's gonna hit a wall and he's not gonna be able to give to you anymore.
In those 16 years of us, that actually was one of our issues. You know, but with us living up in DC, like Tabitha's friend Akila moved to LA. Allison was still in Mobile, so she didn't really have any friends. So her going out was when we did something. But I met friends working where I worked, and she admittedly resented that. She grew to resent that a little bit. So that was one of those tough times I spoke about. You know, she didn't have a lot of her own friends, and so, you know, when I would go out, you know, I kind of get like a little shade. You know what I'm saying? So, are you going out again? Must be nice. You know what I'm saying? So, but she has friends now, so that's one of those things that we work through that I talked about.
But it's funny you say that. I think we have to keep creating our identity. Like, as a wife or as a husband, you're more than just a wife or a husband. Mm-hmm. So you're a wife, you're a mother, you're Tab the worker, like still building on those things and still be independent. So you were talking about being independent and having your own life with friends, but separating those things as far as being a wife does not equal being a mother. Being a husband does not equal being a father. I've actually, I've said this 1,000 times, I've heard women, when you talk about what makes you a good wife, they talk about being a good mother. And you separate those things. So when I say back to that, because you gotta date. So because you're doing the great things for your kids, doesn't mean you're keeping your husband happy. You know, or vice versa as a husband, because you're sacrificing for your family and stuff like that.
You're going out, you're working hard and all that, yeah.
But you're not being a husband, you're not dating your wife. She sees you as a provider, that's part of your identity, but are you still romantic? Are you still building into her? Does she still see you that same way? Is that same energy, that the chemistry still there? And you gotta realize that everything doesn't flow into everything else. So because you're strong or you're overdoing it on one side, don't forget about the things that that other person needs. Also, don't forget yourself. You know, if you start describing yourself, you're more than just a husband and a father. You know, there's other parts of you that you need to grow too. Nourish and cherish each other. And, you know, make everybody better.
Nourish.
Nourish. That's my one.
Nourish.
My last point on that question, though, the flip side, because I said be willing to work through tough times. That doesn't mean let him go upside your head and say you got to work through it.
Yeah.
He brings you
tough times should not be that.
Yeah, he bring you STD home. You know what I'm saying, every 3 months. Not those type of tough times.
But you know, that made me think of something. I'm gonna leave with this. Realize that it's okay to get help too, because I think so often we as a people, we're so used to struggling and trying to make things work on our own, or that we don't realize that we're not equipped to handle all the problems that we might have in our marriage. So once again, this is a call for therapy. You know, like if you're in a relationship where this person has anger and anger management issues, depression, all that stuff, and you stop saying pray about it, stop saying, you know, go be stronger, go get help, because you're hurting yourself trying to solve a problem that you're not equipped for, and you're probably just gonna put more pressure on yourself because you feel like you're doing everything right to help this person and they're not getting it. So you're putting in the energy and you're not getting the results you want. And then the person is probably getting annoyed because you're annoying the hell out of them, trying to make them better. Like, well, why are you depressed? Have you thought about this? Yes, thought about this. Like, you're not equipped to handle the depression. So stop trying to solve everything between just the two of you. Go get help. Ray, you got anything to close with?
One thing I heard an old person say, though, she talked about how they never both fell out of love. And I think that's one thing. You're always gonna get to the point that you might not like each other, but you have to realize that the two of you came together for a reason, and eventually you're gonna get back to that place. So as long as you don't both fall out of love at the same time, you're gonna be okay.
Got any point? Married man over here? So see a ring you finger? How do you say married? Happy? You gotta come a little closer to the mic, but.
I would say for me, this will make my 13th year being married, 20 total years with my wife. And for me, I thought the key to happiness when I first got married was to basically keep a job, provide as best I could, don't get into any physical altercations, and everything would just pretty much just fall in line. And what I learned was it's a whole lot deeper than that.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me was communication. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, whether it be, as men, we all have egos. And sometimes, especially when you're young, starting your career off, you're not making as much money as you are as your career progresses. Mm-hmm. So you may not want to communicate at that particular time with your wife, hey, you know what? I might not have it all this month, or, as far as like finances, you're not too open as far as like discussing finances, or with me, the big thing was discussing finances, discussing feelings, also being young, getting married. When you're young, especially when you're a bachelor, you're used to coming and going as you please. When you get married, you got somebody to answer to, whether you like it or not. At the end of the day, we're all adults, we're all grown, but you have to answer to someone. You got to communicate with someone. Whether it be, hey, for example, me and my boys, we get together every year for homecoming. I know I can't wait till the day before homecoming. Hey, babe, just to let you know, I'm not gonna be home till 5 o'clock Saturday night. That's not gonna work. You gotta communicate that, at least, a couple of weeks or a month in advance, or just let her know. Well, she know, hey, baby, homecoming come around this year. Saturday night I might be out a little bit late. You can't just it's all about communication. Whether it be finances, relationships, just everything across the board. The biggest thing for me was just communication.
How do we not bring up communication? That's like the one-on-one in life. Communication's the key to all, man. Man, appreciate it. What's your name?
Terrence.
Yeah. Tavares, man. You with Three Brothers No Sense, so we do a podcast.
Good to meet you, man. Razi.
Appreciate you, man. Good to meet you.
Okay, I appreciate that. So, communication, gave me some pointers. You got a question for us? What's up next?
I do. It's a non-married question. I didn't know if you wanted this to be like.
Nah, bro, it is what it is.
Okay. All right. So I think last week I asked y'all the question and I said, please don't cap and be honest. So there's another one of those type of questions. So Dave Chappelle, a few months ago, he made news. He went to one of like their town hall meetings or whatever, and he objected to like some low income housing being put up near their neighborhood. And people was like, oh man, it's messed up. How could he be like that? I was a little quiet on the subject. I ain't gonna lie. I was a little quiet on the subject. So I definitely know what it's like to be low income. I've shown the garage apartment that I grew up in Pritchard, Alabama. So I definitely believe in helping people or whatever that are trying to, make a good living. But I also have a home that I want the property value to stay up and things like that. My question to y'all is, are you okay with low income housing being built next to your neighborhood or your house? Why not?
Hell to no.
There's people shaking their head at us, man.
I mean, like you said, no cap. Just being 100% honest, you got to think about as soon as they build low-income housing, it's going to deflate your property value, right? I mean, I think Houston's like that, right? They don't have zoning laws, so you literally can have that, right? You can have this huge house, and then right across the street have, some projects. And what ends up happening is, with low-income housing comes crime. We know it. Economically, they study it, right? Low-income housing, lower economic circumstances increases violence, it increases crime, it increases drug usage. So
not just black, low income, period.
Yeah, that's across the board. And I think that's what a lot of people, like, you get a lot of the pushback from.
Yeah, trailer parks.
Trailer parks is the exact same way, yeah. So it's people automatically assume you're trying to be racist or like anti-black, or you're not trying to do that when you say that, but it really is like, my mom just got a property in Irvington, right outside of Mobile, and there's a trailer park across the street. And I told her not to build a house on it because of that same thing. I'm like, do not build a house there because that trailer park is going to depress that value. You're not going to get the money that you would be putting in by building a house there. So, I mean, you just have to understand the circumstances in the situation. Dave Chappelle does not want, 300 people in low-income housing very close to his property. When they can't make the rent, when they need some copper, where they gonna come? They gonna hit his property up for it. So I'm definitely with him on that.
Why would they even think this is a good idea? Like, did somebody say sign me up to build some projects next to my multi-million-dollar house? Like,
first of all, the term is affordable housing. It's not low-income housing. And I sit on a board for city planning. That's bullshit. Like, the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, tell us about it, Rafi.
No, diversity is the key to make successful cities, period. Not a bunch of ass niggas that got a degree thinking, I don't want nobody to make less than $50,000 living on my block.
And that's fine.
And all of that talking about affordable housing, which is not market rate, which is not $3,000 for a one-bedroom apartment. But affordable housing does not increase crime, does not increase any of that. That's a f***ed up way of thinking about some Neuvo Negroes.
So, finish getting your hair cut, because I want you to come into this.
No, you ain't ready for me, dog. Get out of here.
Let's do it, bro.
Come on.
That's some bullshit. And I'm the bootiest nigga out of everybody in here. I already know that, without even knowing everybody.
So, why would I? So you're saying that's
so Dave Chappelle's situation was a little bit deeper than that. It wasn't because he didn't want it there. It was a lot of policy things that went along with that. So it wasn't just like, I don't want that in my backyard. It wasn't that.
He had some money tied up.
Yeah, it was some other things going on with that, but it ain't just like, keep the pole niggas out.
So for me, it's, you're saying that's what builds a great city, right? That's what makes a good city. Diversity makes a great city. What does that have to do with Tavares Ferguson and his family? I don't, the city's not giving me money. I'm not benefiting from the greatness of this city. Like, I still have to.
No, that's selfish living, bro.
Why would you say that's selfish living on my part?
Everybody
because of this.
With everybody, you gotta make 6 figures.
I didn't say that. So we haven't given a number.
You immediately said, why would you want projects in your backyard?
Why would I want projects in my backyard?
Housing in the projects.
We mentioned projects a couple of times, so I'm like, why would I want projects? I'm restating what we said.
I don't think they build projects anymore. They build like actual homes or apartments or whatever like that. You know what I mean?
You ain't gonna be packing groceries at the HEB. You're not gonna be packing. You ain't gonna be doing the Starbucks pouring the coffee. Somebody has to be able to commute back and forth to work these other jobs. So affordable, quote unquote, housing projects, they're a means to keep the community flowing. Because when school starts, high school kids, they got to go back to school, they can't work these certain hours. People in the suburbs, you guys we all moving out to the suburbs areas, we have to have these amenities in our community. They have to be worked. So it has to be accessible to get to these places.
I want to come to my man.
Essentially,
I want to come to my man right here though.
We want to start redlining again
because
we got a little money.
He's very passionate about this.
I like
so
that.
I want you to correct me.
That's just what I do. I'm an architect.
I get that. But I think having low income people in a cluster like that is a disadvantage to them because that's how.
What do you consider low income?
People that move in affordable housing. That can't afford.
It's based off your area,
to
right?
Be a Neuvo Negro, as you put it. Let me get my question out.
Market rate housing is a one bedroom for over $2,000. Right. So anything under that is called affordable.
Yeah, but kind of doing semantics. You know what we're talking about here. And when you put people in a cluster like that, it's much easier to marginalize them and cut them off from access to good schools. And they even got studies on how they do people's groceries in low-income neighborhoods. So why would you be for putting people in a cluster like that instead of having them spread out all over in the city so that they can't be easily cut out of the good things that suburban Americans get? So why would you even be for putting people in a cluster like that? Because that was one of the major problems with projects, was that we're gonna put all these Negroes in one area and we know we can ignore that area. Spread them out throughout the city. You can't ignore Ray when he living next door to Beth. You know what I mean? So why would you even be for having people in a cluster like that when you can easily marginalize them?
I don't think it marginalizes them, but what it does is.
What do you mean? How do we have poverty then?
No, I think you're looking at it totally different. You're not creating a ghetto. That's not what you're trying to do. You're talking about development.
But that's what happens.
It's a development. Every building that you build right now has to have a certain percentage of affordable housing units. You can't just wipe people out and say that only rich white people can live here. You gotta have a certain amount of units that are affordable.
Once you start grouping people,
you also put them closer to that access. You don't find those services out in the suburbs.
So you telling me America doesn't do that? Is that what you're telling me right now, sitting in that barber chair? America doesn't do that?
I'm not saying it's perfect, but what you're saying is just.
It's not even that it's not perfect. It's not working. It's failed.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Right, they can't afford to live in the suburbs.
It shouldn't be.
Because they don't have that access. They don't have that inner city access to transportation, services, all those other things.
It should be. We have 3 or 4 homes in this neighborhood. We have 3 or 4 homes in that neighborhood. It shouldn't be everybody just in this one spot.
I think that's what Rafiq is explaining about any new development. You have to have a certain amount of affordable homes in that development, right? So that it's not. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that where we have some affordable homes where even in new developments, you see in subdivisions, you'll see the garden homes is what they call them, right? You got the under $100,000 or $150,000 homes, and then you had the $500,000 homes, right, in the development. They always build like that so that they have some more affordable in that community, and then they have those higher end ones in the back of the subdivision or whatever. I'm cool with that. What I'm not cool with when I say I don't want a project, I don't want a Bessemer or like that type of area where it's just like boom, I'm gonna put 400, 500 low income people in this 3-block area, and we know that that's the spot we not going to, and it's right across the street from my $400,000, $500,000 home. That's the part that I don't want.
Yeah, so that's what I agree. So when the question was posed, I'm thinking you're about to create a whole community, and you were saying, but they can't afford it. Like, why they can't afford to stay in the suburbs? Because you're going to bring them out to the suburbs, create a community in the suburbs. What are we talking about? Like, if you're doing like Byron said, maybe 3 or 4 affordable homes in every area, agree. People should have access to good schools, to good food. I mean, we all know about food deserts. Like, we understand that.
It ain't just food deserts, man. They give those people they relabel the meat to where that meat long expired, man, and selling them cheap steaks and things like that, man. It's bad. It's bad.
Speak, I feel like you're brewing over there. What you got?
Like, you're talking about how the grocery stores work. That ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about. Like, that's nah.
Because when they compress them in one area, it's easier for them to identify and do things like that.
Whose fault is that? That's not the developer or the city. You talking about stuff groceries and shit. Like you putting a lot of stuff.
Whose fault is
You
that?
let a lot of people off the hook, man. He's so passionate.
I'm not letting people off the hook, but your 1 + 1 don't equal 2.
I mean, what math you doing? I mean, when does 1 + 1 not equal 2?
Man, honestly, it almost sounds like your point is moving more toward Feet's point. Because you're saying that you need to spread these people out.
Yes.
And put them in different neighborhoods so that you don't create food deserts, you don't marginalize people.
Yes.
Look how y'all talking about to spread these people out. Like,
No, I'm saying
these
just
are regular fucking people.
Yeah, no, we're not. I mean,
I'm not saying these people in that way. I'm saying that you're spreading out low income.
Your job addresses these people. You just said you work with these people.
Well, no, what I'm saying, I think he is making your point to spread them out, the low income housing, and now you have to put them in the neighborhoods next to the people with the $500 million house.
Yeah.
Now they're in these neighborhoods so that they're not marginalized. They don't have to worry about food deserts and things like that. Do I agree with that? Somewhat. Because me personally, I'm like Ferg. I'm worried about me. I try to help other people, but when I'm talking about the price of my house or my income in my house, I'm gonna do what's best for me and mine. So if I build a $500 million house, I don't want you to put somebody next to me with a $100,000 house, and it's nothing to do with if they're criminals, if they're the greatest person in the world. It's something to do with I built a $500 million house, and I need my property value to stay wherever it is or be as high as possible.
because that's how comps work. I mean, as an architect, you understand comps, and that's really what they're looking at.
See you brewing.
I think y'all missing it. I mean, when you have a subdivision, we're talking about homes. You'll have a subdivision that say starting at $600,000. That's where it is. That's not affordable housing. Affordable housing are apartments, leasable units. So we're talking about two different things. You're not going to have an $800,000 home next to an apartment building in most cities. I don't know how Houston works. Houston's a little weird.
Why is that? So you're saying that they should have an apartment next to $800,000?
No, I'm not. I'm not
So that's
saying that
what
at
I'm
all.
saying. So when you say low income, say
I never say low income. I don't use that term.
or affordable housing. Affordable housing. My thing is, if I have an $800,000 house, I don't want you to build up.
I think it's dangerous that you don't want to address low income. That, to me, and this don't even talk about the whole housing point, but now you letting job creators off the hook. Now we need to be screaming low income because there are people that are not making a livable wage. So you can ignore low income, but that's real, and that's a real problem.
I get what you're saying. You're trying not to
talk about low.
I did say it was different. I did kind of move it, but you're so against the term low income. That's a real term, bro.
Not in terms of,
especially with
housing.
inflation going on right now.
Not in terms of housing. It's affordable. Housing
affordable when you're talking about housing. Low income when you talk about the income base, right? Or the community.
So, man, you can't throw a term like Neuvo Negro or whatever you said out there and then want to ignore stuff like low income.
No, can I stand by that term?
Like, you can, but you wrong on it.
No, it's not.
You are.
Half the people talking about not in my backyard grew up in households with two working parents making under $100,000.
Wait.
I grew up super broke.
Yeah, right. So now us fam humans, we can't even live, or we can't take a job that don't make six figures. It's impossible to live off of under six figures. That's the bullshit. That's that new Negro.
We can't admit that there's a such thing as low income.
I never disagree with that, but in housing, it's not an appropriate term.
It is. Who qualifies for affordable housing?
It's based on your income, and most of those people make a living wage. Do you understand how high rents are right now?
Yes.
I live in a studio and I pay $1,600. That's not most working people that make a decent wage, $50,000 or more, whatever your term is, decent wage, can't afford that and live with a family. Okay. They just can't. So that's why you have
all affordable. Right. So, and that's what we're saying is all affordable homes isn't low income housing.
So
there's a difference. affordable homes, there may be somebody making $60,000 a year and still qualify for affordable homes. That doesn't mean that we're talking about low income housing.
So let's stop. Let's clarify. When we say low income housing / affordable homes, what are we talking about? Because you were just saying apartments. You're not talking. When we saw the $100,000 house mark, you were like, no, we ain't really talking about that. I am talking about them building, me having apartments for that's not considered affordable housing. Or you say that's not affordable housing? The apartments. Is that affordable? Is that what you're referring to? Apartments or not even just apartments, because there's nice apartments and all that. I'm just saying these income-based housing projects.
Income restricted housing.
You think those should be built everywhere?
I'm not saying everywhere, but you don't group them to a certain area.
That we can agree. I think we all agree with that. Right.
He said that. What he said? Pretty much that moving them around like that isn't solving it.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure they heard it.
We can continue this, but for the show, we're going to have to take a break. We got to cut it short. But I'm sure over the weekend, this conversation is going to continue.
Anybody have one last question for us? We go all over.
That's the barbershop, right? It's just whatever come up.
Being a bachelor to like being in a committed relationship or like moving towards marriage.
All right. So yeah, the question was, how do you go from being a bachelor, moving into a committed relationship, and then eventually into marriage?
Razi talks about this all. When you wake up, you don't got no more.
Yeah. So this is how you know, right? You're a bachelor, you out, you moving, you shaking. I think everybody tries to force relationships and like get into this whole, we are official because we said it. My thing is, dating should be like the Hunger Games. May the odds ever be in your favor, baby. I am committed to you and we are in a 100% monogamous relationship. When I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I look around and I'm like, man, I ain't got no like, where they all at? Like, when all you want is her, no matter what, the chicks are out there, you can see her, but you don't want her. You only want that one. That's when you know she's the one. That's when you should be moving into a monogamous relationship. I think we move too fast from the dating stage into the relationship stage, and we're not ready. And so then you just cause problems, right? Like, now I still want to go out and date, but this my lady, so now she's gonna be my main, but I got some chicks on the side because that's what I want, right? So I think what you have to do is slow it down and really be open. Go back to communication, right? It's all about communication and saying, hey, we're dating, and if I see you out on a date with somebody else, it's all good. But our egos won't work like that. So we end up wifing chicks up because we don't want to see her with anybody else. Hey, good.
Bartender?
Yeah.
The bartender's here, so we about to cut this real short. Y'all want to add anything? Oh, go ahead.
Terrence, go ahead.
And this is a question I'm gonna pose to all you guys. Do you think monogamy is natural?
My man! My man!
Now, this is coming from a brother. Before I was married, I lived the ultimate bachelor life. I mean, I traveled, I dated, and I learned everything I know now through trial and error. So, of course, when I started out, being a bachelor, back in the day, I'm 49 years old. So back then, I'm probably older than a lot of you guys. But back then, it was a good thing to have a bunch of women, to have a roster, so to say. And then you get to the point to where, you know what, man, I'm tired of lying, man. I got this chick over, and man, I'm ready for her to go, man. Let me get dressed like I'm going to work and get in the car and go around the corner and come back. And you got to, and for me, you know, I went through those stages. You know, I got to the point to where, you know, I got tired of lying. Okay? Well, let me just be real with them then. Well, you start being real, being honest with them. Some of them can handle it. Some of them can't. You know, you may be to the point to where you dating maybe like 2 or 3 at a time, and you may just spend a little bit more time with one out of the 3. But she knows that you're dating. That you got other female friends or whatever that you date, and she's like, you know, hey, you know, what's going on? You know, we dating. You know, you say we're dating, you say we're not exclusive, but you spend a lot of time with me. You know, that's kind of confusing. So, like I say, I'm married, but don't get me wrong, I'm totally committed. But sometimes, hey, sometimes you miss the thrill of the hunt. Or what do you do when, you know, we men? So, you know, you wake up with a feeling every morning. What do you do when your wife don't want to have sex with you? Or she talk about she tired. Well, you know, I had to watch the kids and this and that and the other. And, you know, I just don't feel like it. You know, and I posed this question one time, you know, to my wife. You know, she's like, you know, because, you know, we went through that period, like, you know, I'm tired. I'm like, well, you know, what you want me to do? I got married so I wouldn't be out there chasing all these different women. You know, I got married to the point to where if I wanted to roll over and get some, then it would be no problem. But now you telling me you tired. So what am I supposed to do? Yeah.
Monogamy. I don't think it's natural.
It's not.
But that doesn't mean it can't be done. It shouldn't be done.
You have to stand.
It takes discipline.
Yeah.
Just like almost any good thing in life, it takes discipline. It takes discipline to go to that job every day and try to get that promotion. It takes discipline to eat right, exercise, to make sure you're living healthy. It takes discipline to be monogamous and not chase after these other women. It takes discipline.
You got to suppress that natural instinct.
Yes, so I don't think it's natural. I think when I brought it up, I feel like Razi disagreed with me, but have y'all answers changed? I don't think it's natural, but it can be and should be.
I think it's in the environment, right? It's natural for some species, right? We talked about the whole penguins mate for life and all that. So it happens. It can happen, but I agree with you. It takes work because you are always going to have a wandering eye, right? Yeah. And that just goes back to my whole taking it slow and making sure that the one you do pick that you're trying to mate for life can give you the incentive not to have that wandering eye, right? Like, I see other people, but I'm not gonna go after it, right? And Ferg, I know you have your whole thing about being shallow and always wanting to like be attracted to her and all of that. Yeah. And I think that's a part of it. Like, there's that work, right? There's that commitment of saying, I'm gonna stay attracted to you. I'm gonna stay like in that mode of making sure that you want me at all times, right? I'm gonna grow with you, and I'm gonna, if you get other interests, if you're trying to do something real nasty, I'm gonna try, baby. It's whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
So I think it's brought up some good points. I don't think it's natural. It is hard work. It is dedication. And for one, I think it has to be the right person. My wife is the only person that I felt like being monogamous with was worth it.
She's the only one you never cheated on.
Yeah, she's the only woman I've ever dated I've never cheated on. I say it on the show.
He said it on the show.
Yeah, I said like, but it was something about her that made me want to take to. I got a couple of exes that listen to the show. It is.
This dude got on the show and thanked all of his exes for making him the man for his wife.
As a matter of fact.
So you said she's the only woman you never cheated on. What do you mean by cheating? Like, because you know they say the only true commitment is marriage.
Okay.
So were you faithful before y'all got married?
Yes.
Or after
So I've
y'all got
been with my wife since 2009. I haven't touched another woman since 2009. And I can say that wholeheartedly. And anybody that knows me, like, he ain't lying. But for me, she was the first person that made me want to do that because I understand it's not natural. I don't think it's natural for you to really commit to any one thing for the rest of your life and not have that wandering eye. You can have the best job in the world, but if you have another job that looks better and they're paying you more money, you gonna look at it. You're not gonna eat your favorite food. Want to eat your favorite food every day, right? It's you want something, but it's like you have to be disciplined. And the questions you were asking is communication. So I would say my wife and I had a lot of conversations, communication early about those things. Sex is a must in my relationship. There's no questions asked. The day you stop wanting to have sex with me, and I'm gonna do everything I can do possible to still be attractive. When we are having sex, I'll make sure you enjoy it. Like, I'm gonna put in the work to make sure that I'm doing my part. But the day you start withholding sex is the day you're starting to think about our marriage might be on the way ending. Because it's
Get like a day or two.
No. I'm not. No. I'm not saying. I'm not.
Don't say no.
No. I'm not. No. I'm glad y'all cleared up. I'm not saying every time I want sex, I'm getting it. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, it's not every day or every time I want sex. I'm not saying like I have it like that. What I'm saying is, Z knows sex is an important part of our relationship. There's people that haven't had sex with their spouse in months, years. That's a no-go. You start. She told me the same thing. Like it's we having sex. Like this is it. You know. I'm being nice how Z said it. It's all those things. Sex is important to me. Sex is important to you. All those things we talk about in relationship. If your attitude, the way you carry yourself, the way you talk to me, like you can't go around purposely making my life miserable. We call it withholding happiness in our relationship. Anything that's intentionally withholding happiness in our relationship is a problem, and it has to be addressed immediately. So
let me ask you this: what if she's intentionally, not intentionally holding, like, because sometimes women go through the whole postpartum.
Yeah, and I address that, and I understand that, but I still, if I'm a priority in your life, then we need to work on that. And it might not be something I can fix or she can fix, but like I was saying, other stuff, we got to realize that we're not qualified to handle every issue we have. So we might need to go get professional help to get you past that. We can't accept as people things that just withhold happiness. If I'm committed to you, then we should at least try to work together to. My happiness isn't all fall on her or vice versa, but it's like the effort to put that in. Like, I know my husband's big on sex. I know my wife wants certain things. I have to put forth that effort. When you just start chalking it in, it's when you chalk it in, I'm gonna chalk it in, right? Like, oh, you don't want to have sex? Like you said, at a certain point, I'm gonna have to. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Like, I gotta do something. So
I say for me, because I've faced those obstacles with my wife. And for me, I guess my focus is definitely changed. When I was younger, I'd have been like, you know what, I'm not gonna deal with this. But now, married, kids, okay, you tired or whatever. Let me find something else to do. Yeah. Let me focus on something else, and we'll revisit this situation. Whatever. It's a difficult topic, man, because you got some women that's not even trying to see or hear what you're trying to say. Hey, I'm tired. I don't want to do it.
Those are independent women, and they sing.
But are you? And we can't put it all on women. Are we doing as men the things that women need to be attracted? Like me just saying I want sex tonight, and what made her want to have sex with me when we were dating? Was I whining and dining her? Were we dating? We haven't been on a date. we're not doing those things, and you just expect sex, it's that's a tall ask because you're not getting what you want, and neither is she. We got to look at the bigger picture sometimes. It's easy to play the victim. Yeah.
If you're doing the things to make her want to have sex with you, if you make it enjoyable for her, you understand the times that she says, I have a headache, or she's part of my whatever issue she's dealing with. If you're willing to at least have an understanding eye to those things, and you still try to make it enjoyable to her, and you're not just getting in there trying to get you and get out of there. Women want sex just like men. So when you're making sure she enjoys it, then you're going to get that sex. Maybe not all the time you want it, but you're still going to get it on a regular basis.
So when you talk about monogamy, is it all about sex?
No, I think it's commitment. So it's not all about sex. Monogamy to me is the reason.
So commitment isn't that? I don't think so.
I don't think what? Just to be with one person and not straight. Because think about it, if I could, are you going spiritual? What are we going from? I just like if. Okay.
I look at things totally different.
Okay, I can see that. What I'm saying is, if you didn't have religion, if Rafiq woke up and there was no religion or no guiding force, and you started, I assume without religion, you're still gonna be attracted to women. You're still gonna want to date. You're still gonna have carnal urges. You're still gonna want to be in their presence. At a certain point, without religion, would you still want another woman? Would you automatically find that one person you just want to be with them for the rest of your life?
First of all, I can't picture life without religion. However, in my religion, we can have up to 4 wives. But that's what I'm asking you.
What are you talking about? So for me, I know.
That's what I'm asking you. And the reason I ask is because it's not about sex. Like, you have to be able to provide for them equally. Like, one can't live in low-income housing, and then another one live, you know what I'm saying, in 800. And then another one living in a mansion. Like, you got to be able to provide for them equally. You know what I'm saying? Like, in time, yourself, and everything else.
So I'm talking about an emotional state for me, or emotional / physical. For me, I know I have to be monogamous because my frail male ego I cannot picture, because monogamy works both ways. Part of the reason I'm monogamous is because I can't think about my wife being with anybody else. I'm just calling it like it is. Like, if we were in a polyamorous relationship, which sounds great, and she was like, so she can date somebody too? Can't do it. I'm selfish. And I don't think it's natural, but I think the benefit that comes from it is I pour my energy into one person. That one person gets, and so that was the difference, was Z got the best of me. Z was the only person that got the best of me, rather than dating somebody, still trying to keep my chicks on the side, or like, okay, you're not giving me what I need. Who am I going to tonight? You were my roommate in college. You know how things work. And so, but I don't know. Monogamy is not natural to me, but it's worth it.
But it can be and should be.
I don't think it should be.
Yeah. And guys, we can finish this and we can continue, but we got to close out the show. We're bumping up on an hour right now.
Okay.
So, Ferg, anything take us out?
Hey man, it was a great talk. We're here, the Gent Spot. We done had everybody chimed in. Rafiq doesn't like us anymore. He's gonna stop listening to the show. Neuvo Niggas. We gonna get that on our shirts.
That's the name of the show, right?
Y'all have to go live in an affordable house.
See? I knew you were gonna jump in. Progress. That's all it's about. Barbershop talk in the barbershop. This is why we have the show. I can't name it any better.
Y'all know I have fun. I like when we disagree. I hate when the whole show is us just agreeing. I'm glad Rafiq jumped in and made it interesting. But big shout out to the Gent Spot. I know they usually have like music in here playing. They had their normal vibe. These people turned the music down, allowed us to sit up in here, record. participated. So I just really appreciate this place right here. Definitely enjoy it. And that's it, man. We gonna renew some vows with Ferg and Z. But had a good time today.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Once again, shout out to the Gent Spot. Shout out to Ferg and Z, man. Like my favorite couple. So we've gone on trips together. We've hung out. We've done all kind of crazy stuff, man. I'm still trying to think through how I'm gonna do this toast tomorrow. So, but man, we love you guys. We love the listeners. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Make sure you come back. So, I'm closing them out. Oh no, I ain't doing the 6 Rules podcast. So, but I will say we did mention Inspire You on air, the new beat of the bay. So just make sure you check us out every Monday night, 10 o'clock. Appreciate you guys as always listening to us. You can always catch us on any podcasting platform out there: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, anything like that. So make sure you go and listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. 3 Brothers No Sense. We out.